Hello everyone, and welcome back to Let's Play Skyrim. Last time we visited the orcs at Largashbur and gained the quest, The Cursed Tribe. Today we're exploring toward Fallowstone Cave, but we're going to do a lot of stuff between here and there. Our first stop is that fortress you can see right there, Darklight Tower. And it contains its own quest. We've cleared the main road up to here, so I'm sure there's a path to the tower. Let's just run along until we find it. It's Friday night. Means I get to play Skyrim. It means my brain gets to take a break. It's just a all-around good thing. Here's the path. As you can see, it's not terribly well maintained, but it takes us right up to the place. Although we're being attacked by a cave bear first. Flame on. Fabulous. Let's heal up, and let's proceed. Darklight Tower. Here it is. Allow me to remove it from my location list. Let's explore the outside and then head in. Pretty typical collapsed stonework wall. And it's right flush with a cliff face. So I can't do my usual perimeter check where I go all the way around the thing. Note the bloodied mammoth tusks. That says something about who lives here. Goat heads on spikes. We've seen all this before. We're going to be dealing with witches and hag ravens. And the various critters they invariably have with them. Anyway, there's really not much to see except the stairway up to this main door, so let's head inside. Read Herbane's Bestiary Ice Wraiths.
That takes care of that.
Ilia just fought somebody.
By the gods. I know this looks bad. Let me explain.
You killed that woman.
I didn't want to, but she attacked to try and keep me from leaving. I can't be a part of this place anymore. The things we do here, evil, evil things. No more!
Why did she need to die?
We were supposed to find a sacrifice. Human sacrifice. I told her I couldn't do it, and she attacked. I've done horrible things living here, but never taken an innocent life. I couldn't just find some person for them to kill.
Why did you need a sacrifice?
The initiation. My mother is going to become one of those things. I can't be a part of that. Gods, I can't run away from this. I have to stop her. I'm going up there to stop her. This cycle must end. I don't know what brought you here, but I could use your help if you're willing.
I'll help you.
Good. Follow me. We have to fight our way up. I don't think anyone else here is about to have a change of heart.
Started. Repentance. Help Ilia reach the top of Darklight Tower. Now, Ilia's pretty cool. She becomes a follower after this quest, and she's a darn good one. I met a witch named Ilia in Darklight Tower. She was supposed to obtain a sacrifice for her mother to perform an evil ritual, but rebelled. Ilia wants me to help her get to the top of the tower so she can stop her mother. Now, Ilia's essential. We don't have to worry about her dying. We do need to pick her pocket for all of those goodies, but particularly that Darklight Tower closet key. Now, before we follow her, let's check out this ground floor, including the witch she killed. The main reason I came here is because of this nice adept locked door. Oh, well, I would like to pick the lock. Let's put the Darklight Tower closet key back for now. I misread the UESP. I thought there was a key required chest in here that her key opened. That is not the case. Let's take those goodies, and now let's move along up the tower.
Yes?
Are you sure about this?
Let's get up there before Mother finds out what we're doing.
I have little doubt you've just noticed that, like I said, Ilia is pretty damn strong. If I used followers, she would be a pretty high-level candidate on my list.
Time to end this game.
That was easy. Note the chest under this overturned table. Now let's continue.
Is someone there? What would...
Yes, thank you, Ilia. You're the most helpful follower I've ever had. need to be careful down here. I think Ilia is leading us toward a locked door. No, it looks like that really is the way forward. Let's check out the top level of this place before we leave. Now I'm seeing more clearly. Do note that spiked gate. There's the pressure plate for it. You'd expect something good hidden here, and indeed there is a filled Grand Sun Gem. For me, anyway. Your mileage may vary. Now, let's continue. Another chest. Always good. That one requires Ilia's key. I knew at some point we needed it. There's not much in the way of useful stuff in here for needing the key to get inside. Not much at all. There's another copy of the Ethereum Wars. We read that long ago.
Hagraven up ahead. Pull the lever when you're ready and we'll take her.
Yes, we
Hagraven
will.
up ahead. Pull the lever when you're ready and we'll take her.
All right. Go forth and face roll. Figure out what brain rot is doing to me. 25 points drained from my total magic. I don't have much spare magicka to start with. But she's dead. The spider is dead. Well, I should say the two spiders are dead. Thank you, Ilia, for the able assistance. Let's search around in here. Steel dagger. And here's an illusion skill book that we have not read. Sun's Dawn, Book 2 of 2920, The Last Year of the First Era, by Karlabak Townway. Let me take it off the book list. And let me run over to free skill boosts. For illusion, there are now 3 boosts remaining. There is 1 skill book to find, and 2 quests to complete. Three Suns Dawn, 2920, the Isle of Artaeum, Somerset. Sothasil watched the initiates float one by one up to the oasum tree, taking a fruit or a flower from its high branches before dropping back to the ground with varying degrees of grace. He took a moment while nodding his head in approval to admire the day. The whitewashed statue of Cyrobane, which the great mage was said to have posed for in ancient days, stood at the precipice of the cliff overlooking the bay. Pale purple proscato flowers waved to and fro in the gentle breeze. Beyond, ocean and the misty border between Artaeum and the main island of Somerset. By and large acceptable, he proclaimed as the last student dropped her fruit in his hand. With a wave of his hand, the fruit and flowers were back in the tree. With another wave, the students had formed into position in a semicircle around the sorcerer. He pulled a small fibrous ball about a foot in diameter from his white robes. "What is this?" The students understood this test. It asked them to cast a spell of identification on the mysterious object. Each initiate closed his or her eyes and imagined the ball in the realm of the universal truth. Its energy had a unique resonance as all physical and spiritual matter does, a negative aspect, a duplicate version, relative paths, true meaning, a song in the cosmos, a texture in the fabric of space, a facet of being that has always existed and always will exist. "A ball," said a young Nord named Wellig, which brought giggles from some of the younger initiates, but a frown from most, including Sothasil. "If you must be stupid, at least be amusing," growled the sorcerer, and then looked at a young, dark-haired Altmer lass who looked confused. "Lilatha, do you know?" "It's Grom," said Lilatha uncertainly. "What the Droog math after they've Crevinissim." "Carvinissim, but very good nonetheless," said Sothasil. "Now tell me, what does that mean?" "I don't know," admitted Lilatha. The rest of the students also shook their heads. "There are layers to understanding all things," said Sothasil. "The common man looks at an object and fits it into a place in his way of thinking. Those skilled in the old ways, in the way of the Psijic, in mysticism, can see an object and identify it by its proper role. But one more layer is needed to be peeled back to achieve understanding. You must identify the object by its role and its truth, and interpret that meaning. In this case, this ball is indeed Grom, which is a substance created by the Droog, an underwater race in the north and western parts of the continent. For 1 year of their life they undergo Carvinissim when they walk upon the land. Following that, they return to the water and meth, or devour the skin and organs they needed for land dwelling. Then they vomit it up into little balls like this. Grom, Droog vomit." The students looked at the ball a little queasily. Sothasil always loved this lesson. 4 suns dawn, 2920, the imperial city, Cyrodiil. "Spies," muttered the Emperor, sitting in his bath, staring at a lump on his foot. "All around me, traitors and spies." His mistress Ridja washed his back, her legs wrapped around his waist. She knew after all these many years when to be sensual and when to be sexual. When he was in a mood like this, it was best to be calmly, soothingly, seductively sensual, and not to say a word unless he asked her a direct question. Which he did. "What do you think when a fellow steps on his Imperial Majesty's foot and says, 'I'm sorry, your Imperial Majesty'? Don't you think 'Pardon me, your Imperial Majesty' is more appropriate? 'I'm sorry', well, that almost sounds like the bastard Argonian was sorry I am his Imperial Majesty, that he hopes we lose the war with Morrowind. That's what it sounds like." "What would make you feel better?" asked Ridja. "Would you like him flogged? He is only, as you say, the battle chief of Solrest. It would teach him to mind where he's stepping." "My father would have flogged him. My grandfather would have had him killed," the Emperor grumbled. "But I don't mind if they all step on my feet, provided they respect me, and don't plot against me. You must trust someone." "Only you," smiled the Emperor, turning slightly to give Ridja a kiss. "And my son Julek, I suppose, though I wish he were a little more cautious." "And your council, and the potentate?" "A pack of spies and a snake," laughed the Emperor, kissing his mistress again. As they began to make love, he whispered, "As long as you're true, I can handle the world." 13 suns dawn, 2920, Mournhold, Morrowind. Turala stood at the black, bejeweled city gates. A wind howled around her, but she felt nothing. The Duke had been furious upon hearing his favorite mistress was pregnant, and cast her from his sight. She tried again and again to see him, but his guards turned her away. Finally, she returned to her family and told them the truth. If only she had lied and told them she did not know who the father was, a soldier, a wandering adventurer, anyone. but she told them that the father was the Duke, a member of the House Indoril, and they did what she knew they would have to do as proud members of the House Redoran. Upon her hand was burned the sign of expulsion her weeping father had branded on her, but the Duke's cruelty hurt her far more. She looked out the gate and into the wide winter plains, twisted, sleeping trees and skies without birds. No one in Morrowind would take her in now. She must go far away. With slow, sad steps, she began her journey. 16 Suns Dawn, 2920. Senkal, Anequina, modern-day elsewhere. "What troubles you?" asked Queen Hassama, noticing her husband's sour mood. At the end of most lovers' days, he was in an excellent mood, dancing in the ballroom with all the guests, but tonight he retired early. When she found him, he was curled in the bed, frowning. "That blasted bard's tale about Polydor and Eloisa put me in a rotten state," he growled. "Why did he have to be so depressing?" "But isn't that the truth of the tale, my dear? Weren't they doomed because of the cruel nature of the world? It doesn't matter what the truth is. He did a rotten job of telling a rotten tale, and I'm not going to let him do it anymore." King Drozel sprang from the bed. His eyes were rheumy with tears. "Where did they say he was from again?" "I believe Gilverdale, in easternmost Valenwood," said the Queen, shaken. "My husband, what are you going to do?" Drozel was out of the room in a single spring, bounding up the stairs to his tower. If Queen Hassama knew what her husband was going to do, she did not try to stop him. He had been erratic of late, prone to fits and even occasional seizures, but she never suspected the depths of his madness, and his loathing for the bard, and his tale of the wickedness and perversity found in mortal man. 19 Suns Dawn, 2920. Gilverdale, Valenwood. "Listen to me again," said the old carpenter. "If cell 3 holds worthless brass, then cell 2 holds the gold key. If cell 1 holds the gold key, then cell 3 holds worthless brass. If cell 2 holds worthless brass, then cell 1 holds the gold key." By the way, that riddle is from Elder Scrolls Arena, the first game. "I understand," said the lady. "You told me. And so cell 1 holds the gold key, right?" "No," said the carpenter. "Let me start from the top." "Mama," said the little boy, pulling on his mother's sleeve. "Just one moment, dear. Mother's talking," she said, concentrating on the riddle. "You said cell 3 holds the golden key if cell 2 holds worthless brass, right?" "No," said the carpenter patiently. "Cell 3 holds worthless brass if cell 2... "Mama!" cried the boy. His mother finally looked. A bright red mist was pouring over the town in a wave, engulfing building after building in its wake. Striding before was a red-skinned giant, the Daedra Molag Bal. He was smiling. 29 Suns Dawn, 2920. Gilverdale, Valenwood. Almalexia stopped her steed in the vast moor of mud to let him drink from the river. He refused to, even seemed repelled by the water. It struck her as odd. They had been making excellent time from Mournhold, and surely he must be thirsty. She dismounted and joined her retinue. "Where are we now?" she asked. One of her ladies pulled out a map. "I thought we were approaching a town called Gilverdale." Almalexia closed her eyes and opened them again quickly. The vision was too much to bear. As her followers watched, she picked up a piece of brick and a fragment of bone, and clutched them to her heart. "We must continue on to Artaeum," she said quietly. "The year continues in First Seed." There you go. Now let's check out the Hag's tent. There is another unlocked chest next to it. Goody goody. And let's head into the second zone, Darklight Chambers. Couple of witches here.
Someone.
There's one. There's the other. Seems that Ilia has elected not to follow me. Well, this could be a problem. There's a bandit corpse here in what looks like a spike trap. Or a spike pit. And there are two possible exits from this room. That door is master locked. and we can get the key or just pick the lock. I'm gonna do both, but I need to get Ilia to come with me first. Go on through. There you go.
The hags nearby will have the key. You'll have to take it from here. I'll keep watch here. Locked. Damn! One of the hags nearby will have the key. Locked. Damn!
Make up your mind.
One of the hags
Finish
nearby
talking.
will have the key. Locked. Damn!
Alright, well, she's glitching out. Let's go this way. There's the Darklight Tower key. Not that I actually want it. Well, I do want it. I want to pick it up. Let's head up to this platform. We've got a shelf to search. And here, a master-locked chest. I'm glad I have a few spare picks, considering I have 2 master locks to pick. Well, I'm beginning to think they're not going to help me that much. There it is. There's one. Let's go over to where the Hag Raven was hanging out. Just a dagger, a soul gem, and a pile of salt. Well, that's okay. Let's head back to Ilia now. Drop the key here so that we can get that precious lockpicking experience.
Locked. Damn! One of the hags...
Oh good, there were some extra picks in there. That should make it substantially easier. Got it.
I will have the key.
Lockpicking to
You'll have take it
100.
from here. I'll keep watching.
Oh, praise the dear Lord baby Jesus. Now, keys are great. So with lockpicking at 100, I can remove it from my build list. Perfect. I'm so excited about that, I'm going to do an anchor save.
Unless you can pick the lock.
Alright, let's head through.
What was that? Takes care of that?
Yes, I suppose it does. Let's clear out this room. Okay, enchanter. there, my sword, alcohol and potions. Over here, end table, mushroom, and another chest. And we can proceed upstairs.
Is someone there?
There's the steamer. I wonder where he fell. Oh, good. Let's clear this joint out. We're up above that first room now. And we have another new book. It's a destruction skill book, Mystery of Talara V3. And destruction raises to 83. That's great. That's the last destruction skill book, so I can remove that category from my book list. And if I go to free skill boosts, there is now one destruction boost left in the game. It is a quest. The Mystery of Princess Talara, Part 3, by Mira Lyketh. Norbooth was leaving his favorite pub in Camlorn, the Breaking Branch, when he heard someone calling his name. His was not the sort of a name that could be mistaken for another. He turned and saw Lord Errol, the royal battle mage from the palace, emerge from the darkness of the alley. "Milord," said Norbooth with a pleasant smile. "I'm surprised to see you out this evening, Norbooth," grinned Lord Errol with a most unpleasant smile. "I have not seen you and your master very much since the millennial celebration, but I understand you've been very busy. What I've been wondering is what you've been busy doing." "Protecting the imperial interests in Camlorn is busy work, milord, but I cannot imagine you would be interested in the minutiae of the ambassador's appointments." "But I am," said the battle mage, "especially as the ambassador has begun acting most mysteriously, most undiplomatically lately. And I understand that he has taken one of the whores from the flower festival into his house. I believe her name is Jaina?" Norbooth shrugged. "He's in love, I would imagine, my lord. It can make men act very strangely, as I'm sure you've heard before." "She is a most comely wench," laughed Lord Errol. "Have you noticed how much she resembles the late Princess Talara?" "I have only been in Camlorn for 15 years, my lord. I never saw her late majesty." Now I could understand it if he had taken to writing poetry, but what man in love spends his days in the kitchens of the palace talking to old servants? That hardly sounds like molten passion to me, even based on my limited experience. Lord Errol rolled his eyes. "And what is this business he has now in, oh, what is the name of that village?" "Umbington," replied Norbooth, and immediately wished he hadn't. Lord Errol was too canny an actor to reveal it, but Norbooth knew at the pit of his stomach that the battle mage did not even know Lord Strail had left the capital. He had to get away to let the ambassador know, but there was still a game to be carefully played. "He's not leaving for there until tomorrow. I believe it's just to put a stamp on some deed that needs the imperial seal." "Is that all? How tedious for the poor fellow. I suppose I'll see him when he returns, then." Lord Errol bowed. "Thank you for being so informative. Farewell." The moment the royal battle mage turned the corner, Norbooth leapt onto his horse. He had drunk 1 or 2 ales too many, but he knew he must find his way to Umbington before Lord Errol's agents did. He galloped east out of the capital, hoping there were signs along the road. Seated in a tavern that smelled of mildew and sour beer, Lord Strail marveled at how the Emperor's agent, Lady Brissiana, always found the most public of places for her most private of conferences. Now that's a nod to Elder Scrolls II Daggerfall. It was harvest time in Umbington, and all of the field hands were drinking away their meager wages in the noisiest of fashions. He was dressed appropriately for the venue, rough trousers and a simple peasant's vest, but he still felt conspicuous. In comparison to his 2 female companions, he certainly was. The woman to his right was used to frequenting the low places of Daggerfall as a common prostitute. Lady Brissiana to his left was even more clearly in her element. "By what name would you prefer I call you?" Lady Brissiana asked solicitously. "I am used to the name Jaina, though that may have to change," was her reply. "Of course it may not. Jaina the whore may be the name writ on my grave." I will see to it that there is no attempt on your life like that at the Flower Festival, Lord Strail frowned. But without the Emperor's help, I won't be able to protect you forever. The only permanent solution is to capture those who would do you harm, and then to raise you to your proper station. Do you believe my story? Jaina turned to Lady Brissiana. I have been the Emperor's chief agent in High Rock for many years now, and I have heard few stranger tales. If your friend the Ambassador hadn't investigated and discovered what he has, I would have dismissed you outright as a madwoman, Brissiana laughed, forcing a smile onto Jaina's face to match. But now, yes, I do believe you. Perhaps that makes me the madwoman. Will you help us? Asked Lord Strail simply. It is a tricky business interfering in the affairs of the provincial kingdoms. Lady Brissiana looked into the depths of her mug thoughtfully. Unless there is a threat to the Empire itself, we find it is best not to meddle. What we have in your case is a very messy assassination that happened 20 years ago, and its aftermath. If His Imperial Majesty involved itself in every bloody hiccup in succession in each of his 1,000 vassal kingdoms, he would never accomplish anything for the greater good of Tamriel. I understand, murmured Jaina. When I remembered everything, who I was and what happened to me, I resolved to do nothing about it. In fact, I was leaving Camlorn and going back home to Daggerfall when I saw Lord Strail again. He was the one who began this quest to resolve this, not me. And when he brought me back, I only wanted to see my cousin to tell her who I was, but he forbade me. It would have been too dangerous, growled Strail. We still don't know yet the depths of the conspiracy. Perhaps we never will. I'm sorry. I always find myself giving long explanations to short questions. When Lord Strail asked if I would help, I should have begun by saying yes. Lady Brissiana laughed at the change in Lord Strail and Jaina's expressions. I will help you, of course. But for this to turn out well, you must accomplish two things to the Emperor's satisfaction. First, you must prove with absolute certainty who is the power behind this plot you've uncovered. You must get someone to confess. And secondly, said Lord Strail, nodding, we must prove that this is a matter worthy of His Imperial Majesty's consideration, and not merely a minor local concern. Excuse me. Lord Strail, Lady Brissiana, and the woman who called herself Jaina discussed how to accomplish their goals for a few hours more. When it was agreed what had to be done, Lady Brissiana took her leave to find her ally Prosecus. Strail and Jaina set off to the west, toward Camlorn. It was not long after beginning their ride through the woods that they heard the sound of galloping hoofbeats far up ahead. Lord Strail unsheathed his sword and signaled for Jaina to position her horse behind him. At that moment they were attacked on all sides. It was an ambush. 8 men, armed with axes, had been lying in wait. Lord Strail quickly yanked Jaina from her horse, pulling her behind him. He made a brief, deft motion with his hands. A ring of flame materialized around them, and rushed outwards, striking their assailants. The men roared in pain and dropped to their knees. Lord Strail jumped the horse over the closest one and galloped at full speed westward. I thought you were an ambassador, not a mage, laughed Jaina. I still believe there are times for diplomacy, replied Lord Strail. The horse and rider they had heard before met them on the road. It was Norbuth. "Milord, it's the royal battle mage. He found out you two were in Umbington." With considerable ease, I might add, Lord Errol's voice boomed out of the woods. Norbuth, Jaina, and Lord Strail scanned the dark trees, but they showed nothing. The battle mage's voice seemed to emanate from everywhere and nowhere. "I'm sorry, milord," groaned Norbuth. "I tried to warn you as soon as I could. In your next life, perhaps you'll remember not to trust your plans to a drunkard," laughed Lord Errol. He had them in his sight, and the spell was unleashed. Norbuth saw him first, by the light of the ball of fire that leapt from his fingertips. Later, Lord Errol was to wonder to himself what the fool had intended to do. Perhaps he was rushing forward to pull Lord Strail out of the path. Perhaps he was trying to flee the path of destruction, and had simply moved left when he should have moved right. Perhaps, as unlikely as it seemed, he was willing to sacrifice himself to save his master. Whatever the reason, the result was the same. He got in the way. There was an explosion of energy that filled the night, and an echoing boom that shook birds from the trees for a mile around. On the few square feet where Norbuth and his horse had stood was nothing but black grass. They had been reduced to less than vapor. Jaina and Lord Strail were thrown back. Their horse, when it recovered its senses, galloped away as fast as it could. In the lingering, glowing aura of the spell's detonation, Lord Strail looked straight into the woods and into the wide eyes of the battle mage. "Damn," said Lord Errol, and began to run. The ambassador jumped to his feet and pursued. "That was an expensive use of magicka, even for you," said Lord Strail as he ran. "Don't you know well enough not to use ranged spells unless you are certain your target won't be blocked? I never thought that idiot—" Lord Errol was struck from behind and knocked to the wet forest floor before he had a chance to finish his lamentation. "It doesn't matter what you thought," said Lord Strail calmly, flipping the battle mage around and pinning his arms to the ground with his knees. "I'm not a battle mage, but I knew enough not to use my entire reserve on your little ambush. Perhaps it's a matter of philosophy. As a government agent, I feel inclined toward conservatism." "What are you going to do?" whimpered Lord Errol. "Norbooth was a good man, one of the best, and so I'm going to hurt you quite a lot." The ambassador made a slight movement, and his hands began to glow brightly. "That's a certainty. How much more I'm going to hurt you after that depends on what you tell me. I want to hear about the former Duke of Aloyne." "What do you want to know?" Lord Errol screamed. "Let's start with everything," replied Lord Strail with perfect patience. "All right. Let's head up the stairs now. I believe we're just about done here." Couple of mushrooms.
All right. Mother is just outside this door. I have a plan.
What's the plan?
I'll present you as the sacrifice. Just play along. While Mother begins the ritual, I'll strike. Then together we can kill her.
Kill her?
I've thought this through, and it's the only way. She's too far gone, too corrupted by the hags. At least in death, she can be free again. Enough. Let's go.
Defeat Ilia's mother at the top of Darklight Tower. I met a witch named Ilia in Darklight Tower. She was supposed to obtain a sacrifice for her mother to perform an evil ritual, but rebelled. Ilia wants me to help her get to the top of the tower so she can stop her mother. At the top of the tower, Ilia told me her plan. She planned to present me as the sacrifice to her mother to gain the element of surprise. Now you might be thinking Ilia is going to turn on you, but that's not true. In this case, trust pays off. But I need to let her go first.
Greetings, Mother.
Daughter, who is this you have brought me?
I found a willing subject for you. Payment has already been discussed, of course.
Splendid. Please take a seat on the chair behind me, would you?
Sure.
I'll just prepare the subject now.
I can't let you do this, Mother. You have to die now.
You look sick. Aegis.
Sylvia is substantially stronger than anything else we found. Let's sort her.
Till that fighting damn you!
Down she goes. And we have completed the quest Repentance. Go get it off my side quest list. And here's a unique item, the Staff of Hag's Wrath. Sprayed on the ground, it creates a wall of fire that does 50 points of fire damage per second. Pretty ballin'. Now I believe that clears Darklight Tower, so I'll take it on my clearable locations list. We're not quite done, there's a bit more to do. repentance. I met a witch named Ilia in Darklight Tower. She was supposed to obtain a sacrifice for her mother to perform an evil ritual, but rebelled. Ilia wants me to help her get to the top of the tower so she can stop her mother. At the top of the tower, Ilia told me her plan. She planned to present me as the sacrifice to her mother to gain the element of surprise. We attacked and killed her mother. Ilia told me to take her mother's staff as a reward. First, let's check these walls. Not really anything in or around there. This gate takes us on the path to our next location. Of course, we're going to go before we take it. Well, let's check this boss chest. Hello. Spell tome. Ebony flesh. That's an nice expert level alteration style that we certainly did not already have. So I'll take ebony flesh off of my needed spell list. That's awesome. Now let's check out the
Don't be sorry for me. If I would have known it would come to this. Mother. Keep Mother's staff. Think of it as payment. I want to leave everything from this cursed place behind. Goodbye. And thank you. What do you need?
I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry. Until next time. Need something?
Now she'll hang out here. You could come with me.
I suppose it would be better than sitting around thinking about all this. I could also do some good for a change. Sure, I'd go with you.
There it is.
All right then.
So now we can come back here if we ever want her as a follower. Let's clear this table. There's another copy of Horror of Castle Zier. You may remember it's a destruction skill book we've already read.
What do you need, my friend?
One other thing to do here. This area is cleared out. Now, if we follow the path to the east, it takes us to the ruins that are my next target. If we go west instead, we get to a little unmarked barrow, where we can kill a troll and get some treasure. You can see it up there. Let's kill us a troll. Iron helmet, how's my carry weight? It should be okay. Down he goes. Let's heal up. And what do we have in here? Skeleton, dead goat, no horns. Burial urn. 2 burial urns. And 1 unlocked chest. Okay, we're all good here. So, let's go offload. I'm gonna begin at the Thieves Guild. Just can't forget that I need to visit a shrine back at Lakeview to cure my disease.
Still have quite a good bit of jobs available, if you're looking for some extra.
Welcome to the... I've got coin and I've got merchandise. Let's see
Let's
what we can do.
offload. And we can actually hold
Now,
on
if
to
you'll excuse me.
and never break lockpicks.
Take a look.
So he'll send us everything that he'll take.
Until next time.
And now we need to reset to Ilia.
Got lots of jobs available.
you're
Interesting.
Hooray.
Okay. Don't look like much to me.
I'm not going to want. Here we go. You're pushing your luck.
If you're looking... Some may call this junk. Me, I call them treasures.
Keep treasure map 5, sell everything else. Keep my 1 hunting brew mead. Keep my potion of cure disease. Everything else is fair game.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing? Here we go.
Stick to the...
Absolutely.
Oh, a bit of this and a bit of that.
Oh, free gold. Simmer down there, Sparky. She doesn't get the Staff of Hag's Wrath. That's going home.
Mm-hmm.
Road
Don't do that again. Last warning. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? What's the matter with you? When you're in your grave.
I give special rates to members of the Thieves
Get
Guild.
out of my way.
Show me what you've got.
And weapons. Can have the Staff of the Familiar and the 3 wooden swords.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're good to head home.
Still have quite a good bit of jobs available, if you're looking for some extra coin.
My brother in...
You know what? I actually think that stuff here in the Thieves Guild is new. Oh.
Yeah, I guess I have a minute.
Respawn.
What do you want?
Yes, the whole area certainly hasn't respawned. Well, no, it has. It's weird that only some of it has. But I'm gonna pretend... No, I am certain I already cleared that table and those cupboards. Yeah, I'm certain. Anyway, sorry about that little moment of self-doubt. Let's head back to Lakeview. Head inside, just to make sure I don't forget. First thing I want to do is head to the basement.
This
Honor
is a local
to you.
favorite and one of the first songs I ever learned.
Note the mannequin has moved off the stand. Don't want Macintosh. There we go. Magica regeneration. Lucy is gonna say hello.
Papa, you're home. Did you get me a present?
Nope.
Aww.
Let's check her dresser. Let's put the Staff of Hag's Wrath in here. I wonder where Camilla is.
Papa!
No, like, seriously, where is she? She's not in here with Raya.
Honor to you, my
She's not
friend.
asleep. There she is.
It means so much. We have a cozy little prophet. Take a look.
Still no resist poison. Never any resist poison.
Goodbye,
No matter.
my love.
Let's head back to Darklight Tower. We're done here. I'm gonna sprint back up to the top, where I mentioned that gateway leads us to the next location, and I will end the video there. So, let's return. Ilia is another one. Ilia is another NPC that I think Bethesda should have made marriageable and isn't. Oh, so she'll hang out right here.
Good morning.
Oh,
Need something?
and apparently I can't get her to come with me anymore. That's too bad. I guess she's just gonna hang out here. Okay then. This place is remarkably quicker to get through, with everyone dead already. Oh, we can head straight up. No need to loop, the gate's already open. There's a white cap I missed. Up we go. Up, 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 up. And here we are ready to call it a video. This has been Let's Play Skyrim. we've cleared out Darklight Tower, we've completed the side quest Repentance, and we've cleared the path to our next target, the Ruins of Raccoon. We'll head there next time. Until then, thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.